Check it out. We've pulled that column out about 1/4 of an inch. Well, I had to do a little tricky work with a floor jack and a pry bar. I had to take that 4x6 timber off edge and lay it down flat because I'm at the max reach height-wise of my cherry picker, and I had to get this to clear the base. That is a swivel. You can see there's a pin that goes through that this stud is attached to, and that's what holds that to the bottom, clamps this base to the column. So now I've got to move this whole arrangement over there by the porticool and gently lay it down. So yeah, and this is a pretty sight. Okay, do this as gingerly as I can. Okay. Had to kind of chalk the wheels a little bit on this cherry picker because it's been wanting to move with all this weight on it. But it's coming down, slow but sure. I got my big pry bar here. I had to wedge that between the bottom of the column and the cherry picker because the column was wanting to slide under the cherry picker, then rise up on the cribbing I got there and lift the whole back of the cherry picker up. So I had to kind of re-rig this a little bit, but it looks like we're getting there. Well, like I said, I'm no rigger. This got down to the point where the bottom of the column was wedged against the bottom of the cherry picker, and as it came down, it stretched this tight. So I employed a couple of my floor jacks, raised that up enough to take the tension off so I can get this loose. Now let's lower this thing on down to my 2x4 cribbing blocks there. And that'll do it. I don't know if you saw it in that last clip, but as I lowered the jacks, that stud hooked underneath and picked up the front of the cherry picker again while I was lowering it down. So I saw that, picked it back up with the jack, backed the cherry picker back up, and then lowered it back down. So finally, this thing is down. I'm going to take a few minutes and get the vacuum out and vacuum up the area here, clean it up. And then stuff the vacuum inside that column. We'll shine a light in there and see if we can spot anything that's holding this upper part of the drill press to the column. I'm telling you guys, young or old, and you old guys know exactly what I'm talking about. When you're kneeling on concrete or outside, kneeling on the ground, get yourself one of these thick knee pads. There's all kinds of retailers that sell them. So I'm telling you, your old knees will love you for it. Well, this is a horrible, horrible view. You can see, no, you can't, sorry. You can see the pin and the bushings that hold this guy in place. But if you can look back up behind it, I don't know if you can see or not, there's a chunk of chain in there. I think that explains the mystery behind those pulleys I mentioned in an earlier video. And it also looks like some kind of shaft or big nut or something, and I'm betting that's what holds that upper part of the drill press to this column. So I'm going to try and knock that pin out and see what we find up inside that column. I'm glad it wasn't black widows or a big ugly camel spider. Well, I apologize for the wind noise in the background. It's the middle of October. We have not cooled down like we normally do in October. We're going to be about 87 today. And so that's coming right out. Look at that. Yeah, we're about 87, so I've got the Porta-Cool going here in the shop, keeping things cool. These guys are way too big for that pin, so I might wind up making new ones for that. Okay, let's get a better look inside here. Yeah, you can see that chain, and then that's some kind of a cone shape, it looks like. So I'm gonna have to, sorry, terrible camera work. I'm gonna have to figure this out a little bit and go from there. Well, the plot thickens. I had to create a little fish hook here, and I fished down through this opening and pulled the chain up. It had multiple wraps in it and kinked up. I was able to pry that all loose, and then I jacked this back up in the air enough to get this guy to fall out the end. So I'll bring you back in a couple of minutes here while I let this back down and clean things up a little bit, and we're going to discuss what that is. We've got a counterweight. The chain attaches here, looks like that screws into the end of the counterweight, comes up through the column, and comes all the way up here to this pulley. Sorry. Comes down, and it attaches to the top of the spindle. Chain goes through that slot. See that pin there? Well, top of the chain let go. Down into the column it went. And so yeah, that's part of the power lift and drop feature for the spindle. This may be assist for the table, or it just could be a roller I think it's just a roller to guide the chain up through this crook neck in the column and on up. I think the table lift is all controlled by this mechanism here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to search over the body of this thing for a patent number and see if I can't find a patent drawing, because Champion made several different styles of Camelback drill press. In fact, I was looking through my book by C.H. Wendell about antique tools and equipment, and it showed a Champion blower and forge Camelback drill press. A higher end model than this one, because it had extra pulleys at the top for driving other stuff. So yeah, that's the plan. We'll see if I can find patent numbers and do a little more research. In part 4 of this series, both Mike from Getting Greasy Garage and Bill Cameron from Edge of Eternity speculated that they thought what I just described was for raising and lowering the table. And in fact, it's for assisting in raising and lowering the spindle. So, but good on those two guys. I mean, they're smarter than me. Those pulleys had me stumped. But once I got into this a little more, I realized, hey, yeah, this is part of a lift assist. So, I'm going to leave this video right here because this thing has got me whooped. I'm not used to all that heavy lifting and handling. So in part 7, I'll pick up and we'll shine a light up that column again and see if there's anything that holds the upper portion of that drill press to the column itself. And if it looks like something I can get apart, I'll try and get it apart. Otherwise, I think I'm going to leave it alone, because I mean, I've got this thing stripped down to parade rest, except separating the column from the top portion. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, I'm just going to say thanks for watching, and thanks to everybody who's been commenting. I'm getting a lot of good comments in this whole series on this Camelback drill press, and so it's generated some interest. And yeah, so now I'm thinking about hunting around for a vintage electric motor with a belt drive on it. We'll see. I got enough gasoline power plants around here that I know will drive this thing, but that's kind of a problematic inside a shop, you know. But anyway, that's future state. So I'm going to say thanks for watching and joining me on this odyssey, and stick around for part 7 coming up. We'll talk to you soon.